Hello everyone, Dr. John Bartemus here today from Functional Medicine Charlotte with client Sandra, and Sandra wanted to share her story with us today. So Sandra, why don't you share what first caused you to seek out functional medicine care?
Well, the first reason that I came here was 13 doctors had not provided results for me, 13 medical doctors. Many of them wanted to prescribe medications, and clearly I knew that that was not going to solve my problem, so I looked for alternative sources for consulting with my problem.
And what was the problem?
Well, my first problem started with my primary care physician took me off Fosamax, which I had been taking for 5 years. That spiraled into a number of consequences. Then she put me on prednisone because I was having rashes. Not only did that not clear up the rashes, but made me very sick 3 days after I went off the prednisone. And that's one of the reasons that I don't want to go traditional medicine solutions, because I had such a bad experience with that. I had a colonoscopy in May, and it turned out that I had no polyps but diverticulitis and bacterial infection, microbacterial, and my gastro wanted to put me on corticosteroids. I declined. I toughed out the diarrhea on my own, but I knew that I just couldn't sustain this. It's not a good way to live. So I looked up functional medicine and found Dr. Bartemus, thankfully, and it has proven to be a very good path for me.
Excellent, thank you. So you found us, and how was your experience here different from the conventional, what you would experience conventionally?
Well, first off, you give your patients a lot of time. You give them the time that they need, the time they deserve, and you listen to symptoms. You record the symptoms, and not only do you use data, blood work, testing, but you also listen to the patient's symptoms. And working with both of those together, you work to find a unique solution for each patient, which is what you did for me. So I was very shocked at what I had going on in my body. I had no idea. I learned a lot about what had probably been going on in my body for a long time, and it was just not bad enough until this year just triggered a whole cascade of symptoms. So in that respect, it's, in my opinion, a much better solution than traditional medicine, especially if traditional medicine is failing to find the root of the problem.
So dig in a little bit to, how are you different now? So what effects did you experience or changes?
Well, the first thing I now know what I have, which is leaky gut. And that is from years of IBS, which I knew I had. I was diagnosed in 2010.
But for the people out there, let's be more specific. So leaky gut or IBS can be catch-all terms.
Yes.
So specifically, what's been the diagnosis? So colitis, right?
Yes, colitis. I've had colitis. I looked back on my gastro paperwork, and I was written up with colitis at the same time I was diagnosed with IBS. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I wasn't taking that seriously enough. And recently I had another colitis episode, which was probably the worst I've ever had. But I also knew that that was part of the leaky gut getting better. So I didn't realize that my intestinal wall was permeable. I didn't realize that with the diverticulitis it was storing bacteria. I just didn't realize all these things. So I'm out on a mission to work my way back to some kind of balance and homeostasis.
So you came in with diarrhea, you came in with pain, you came in with inability to eat a bunch of different foods. So
Yes.
how's life today?
Right now, I'm doing very well. I'm experimenting with food. I still can't quite tolerate all the raw vegetables that I would like, but I'm eating cooked vegetables. I'm eating salads again. And I'm experimenting with small quantities of maybe a little butter, maybe a little cheese, just to see if it changes my digestive system. But so far, like right now, I'm real happy that the diarrhea is solved. Everything is going normally. So I'm just hoping to continue on that path and make it more permanent.
Exactly, and I believe you will. And then lastly, compared to conventional medicine, people could say that this was expensive. I would say that it's an investment. What would you say to people who say, oh, I've heard that's expensive, or, oh, you have to work so hard? What would you say to that?
I'd say both of those words are correct. Yes, it's expensive, and yes, it's an investment. They're both correct. Do you have to work hard? Absolutely. I had to, but I'm a disciplined person. I had to work very hard to stay on an elimination diet. I really got down to very few foods that I could eat. However, I said, if that's what it takes to get past this bacteria infection, viral infection, and everything that keeps happening. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And so the patient has to do the work too. It's not all the doctor, and it's not all the supplements. So it all works in tandem. But in my opinion, this has been worth the investment and worth the time because I do want to get on a road to better health.
Exactly. Awesome. So that's that Life at Optimal hashtag we like to use. And again, health is dynamic. It's a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
And Sandra's heading in the right direction on that journey. So Sandra, thank you for sharing your story with us, and keep up the good work.
And thank you for being my doctor.
You're welcome.